Good morning. I'm Luke Zabrowski with RMS Roller-Grinder. I'm a territory manager for our egg feed division.
And I'm Travis Huft with RMS Roller-Grinder. I am a sales manager for the egg feed.
So today, Travis and I are going to talk about some commonly asked questions that we run into about dust related to a roller mill. So Travis, commonly with guys that are looking at switching to a roller mill from a hammer mill, or maybe they already have a dust issue, do you need a dust collection system with the roller mill? What are your thoughts?
That's a great question. Kind of piggyback off what you said. It comes up a lot when customers are transitioning from a hammer mill to a roller mill, or just kind of in that in-between decision of if I should actually purchase a hammer mill versus a roller mill. And the answer is simply this: it's not necessarily most applications. Really, it comes down to proper sizing of the takeaway system and venting your downstream equipment to achieve the negative pressure exiting the roller mill.
What do you think RMS's biggest differentiator when it comes to like how we make our machines dust tight, maybe versus some of our competitors?
Yeah, I think two of the big indicators and variables that we use is flange mounted bearings. We use those because they'll actually mount tight to the side of the machine. And then how we actually manufacture the roller mills, making sure that all seams and access doors are sealed, whether it's through welds or caulking on the inside, to really ensure that the dust is, can't really necessarily say it's eliminated, but it's controlled to its maximum degree.
What advice do you have for our customers out there, to take into consideration when installing a roller mill?
To be honest with you, I think it's the considerations installing it is kind of one of the most overlooked. Is really, first thing I do is contact your electrician or your local fire marshal. They'll give you the real good direction on how your hazard location rating is. And when planning that project with your local millwright, take into a lot of things you're considering, and a couple of the major ones are proper venting on your ground corn takeaway conveyance system and your ground corn bins.
Gotcha. So, giving our customers like a little bit of a heads up, what are some good indicators to let them know that they in fact do have a dust issue?
Well, the big indicator to let them know they have a dust issue, if they've got a mess in their grind room, a bunch of corn dust built up, that's the first common thing we see when we're walking in, that there's a red flag. And the second one, kind of pertaining to the RMS roller mills, you open up the sample port to retrieve a sample out of there. If the actual sample isn't kind of being sucked off of the sample port tube, and it's more or less blowing back in your face, that tells me that you're not getting the negative pressure that's required to exit the roller mill. It's more of the positive pressure. And a couple of those quick fixes would be proper venting of your takeaway system, and to kind of circle back around to that, the bin, the ground corn bin. Either one of those two aren't allowing the takeaway system to breathe, it's going to revert back into the roller mill. And honestly, one of the biggest, outside of the corn coming through the sample port, another big indicator we get is we see customers start having an increased number of bearing failures. There are three things to consider when a bearing life is lubrication, insulation, and the contaminants. And when that corn dust is blowing back up inside the machine, it's actually entering the bearings from the internal of the machine, causing a breakdown into essentially the bearings, getting them hot and leading to bearing failures.
All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up. If you guys still have any questions, on maybe your current dust issue or planning a new project, feel free to visit our website.